All right, you guys, we have an update. Here's where the PPS New Hours is saying about this new $50 billion loan to Ukraine is backed by frozen Russia assets. Here's how it will work. Now we see Washington leaders of the groups of 7 wealthy democracies have agreed to engineer a $50 billion loan to help Ukrainians in its fight for survival. Interest in earning on profit for Russia frozen central bank's assets will be used as collateral. Biden and Zelensky signed security agreement, hold joint news conference. So details of the deal were being out by G7 leaders at the summit in Italy. The money could reach before the end of the year, according to U.S. and France officials. President Joe Biden told reporters at a new conference Thursday that the move was part of the historic agreement. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky says providing a loan through Russia assets is a virtual step forward in providing a substantial support for Ukraine and winning this war. Here how the plan will work. Now, this bill will go into the president. So now, as they will be meeting with all the foreign countries, this will consider a bill that will be a collateral to fund the Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky. So where will the money come from? So here how things will work. Most of the money will be in the form of a loan, most guaranteed by the U.S. government's backed by profits being earned on a roughly $260 billion in mobilized Russia assets. So now here a French official says the loan could be topped up with European money on a contribution from other countries. So what do this tells us? This tells us now when it comes to the U.S. currency, we're seeing now how things will be declining in the next 2 or 3 months, as this will be a sign of a Great Depression. This will be actually a sign of a great commodity. So here how things will work. They will meet with other foreign countries and, President Joe Biden will find a way to, fund the Ukrainians on European money. So you guys, within the next, I say 2 or 3 months, you start seeing the U.S. currency in the next 2 or 3 months being declined at some point. So we see a U.S. official who spoke out on conditions to preview the agreement says the G7 leaders' official statements due out Friday will leave the door open to trying to confiscate the Russian assets entirely. So now we see for more than a year, officials from multiple countries have debated the illegality of confiscating the money and sending it to Ukraine. So now they will confiscate the money and send it to Ukraine. So the U.S. and allies immediately froze whatever Russian central bank's assets they have access to. Moscow invaded Ukraine in 2022. So basically how President Joe Biden, how he has sanctioned Russia, now as they will work on somehow, to go, to Ukraine to get this done by the end of 2024. So whether they have to, fund the Ukrainians with the European dollar, So what this tells us for the next, I say 3 to 4 months, you will see how things will start to, deteriorate. The dollarization, you start seeing how things will gradually start to decline at some point. So we see with Ukraine losing grounds, allies debate how to squeeze cash out of frozen Russia's assets. The assets are immobilized and cannot be assessed, but still belong to Russia. While governments can generally freeze properties or funds without difficulties, turning them into a forfeited assets that can be used for the benefit of Ukraine, requires an extra layers or judicial brochures, including a legal base. So we see when it comes to the EU, instead has set aside the profit being generated by the frozen assets. That pot of money is easier to access. So now they plan on getting this done by the end of this year. So you guys, here's how things will work. The French officials, who is not authorized to be publicly named according to France presidential policies, says the details could be worked out very quickly. In any case, the $50 billion will be dispersed before the end of 2024. Beyond the cost of the war, the needs are great. Now you got to remember, this was the same President Joe Biden fund trillions of dollars already to Ukraine. Now, at some point, the U.S. is going bankrupt. And now, as we see in the next 3 or 4 months, we start to see the U.S. currency, how it will lose its value. So you guys, please share this video. It's going to be a roller coaster within the next 3 to 4 months. You start seeing the Great Depression. You start seeing high inflations as they've been continue on working on a war for nearly a century. So now we have to start seeing things for what it is. So you guys, please share this video, get this message out. I see when it comes to the U.S. economy, we start seeing things on a global scale. We'll start seeing things for what it is. So you guys, please share this. I'm out.